It was a stormy Sunday morning. Thunder rolled across the sky as heavy rain poured over the city. Yet despite the weather, thousands of people still trooped into the large hall of a church known for miracles. Umbrellas dripped water. Children clung to their mothers, and the ushers struggled to control the crowd. Everyone wanted to see the prophetess they called Mama Divine. Inside the auditorium, the atmosphere was tense but expectant. Drums beat, choir sang, and people shouted in tongues. Suddenly, an assistant rushed to the pulpit, announcing loudly, "Another cripple has walked!" The congregation screamed, clapped, and cried. In the middle of the crowd, a woman named Esther folded her arms. Her eyes narrowed as she watched the so-called miracle. Just a week earlier, she had seen the same crippled man buying fruits in the market, walking perfectly fine. Something in her heart whispered that all was not as it seemed. Years before, Mama Divine had been nothing more than a village girl. Her parents raised her in the Christian faith. She loved singing in the choir and teaching children in Sunday school. People described her as humble, prayerful, and gifted. But hidden within her was a deep desire for recognition. She often complained,
"How long will I remain unnoticed?"
One day, she traveled to attend a grand ministers' conference. It was there she met a powerful preacher who pulled her aside and whispered, "If you truly want to be great, you must pay the price." That night, they led her into a secret room. Candles burned in a circle and strange chants filled the air. They told her to kneel. Before her stood a masked figure who demanded a sacrifice. They told her plainly, "You will never bear children. That womb will be sealed. In exchange, you will be given crowds, wealth, and power." Mama Divine hesitated, tears rolling down her face. But ambition was stronger. She nodded her head and agreed. That night, she was initiated into a dark covenant. When she returned, her life changed. Suddenly, her prayers seemed to shake the room. People began falling under the power during her services. Strange prophecies poured from her lips. Crowds multiplied. Within a year, she went from a small gathering under a tent to a massive cathedral filled with desperate souls. But every midnight, she was compelled to leave her bed and walk towards the river near her mansion. Under the moonlight, she would chant strange words. Her body would shimmer with scales as she transformed, entering the river and vanishing into the underwater kingdom. There, she bowed before a queen, half woman, half serpent, who handed her visions and instructions. This was the true source of her power. In church, Mama Divine introduced strange practices. She handed out small mirrors, telling members, "This is the mirror of life. Through it, you will see healing." Members clutched their mirrors tightly, believing they were holy. But unknown to them, the mirrors were spiritual gateways connected to the marine world. Through them, Mama Divine spied on her followers' secrets and struggles. Armed with this information, she staged prophecies. For example, she would call out, "There is a woman here. Your husband left you last year in the month of June. You cried every night in July." The woman, shocked, would scream and fall on her knees, convinced Mama Divine was hearing from God. The people worshipped her. They brought money, gifts, jewelry, even properties. She introduced blessed oil and anointed water, selling each bottle at outrageous prices. Families borrowed money just to purchase them, hoping for miracles. Esther continued watching carefully. She saw families destroyed. Wives are told to leave their husbands because he carries a curse. Rich businessmen were told their success was blocked unless they sacrifice. And the sacrifices always turned out to be money. Money that ended in Mama Divine's mansion account. One dramatic incident shook Esther deeply. A young man named Obiora had just returned from overseas. Full of joy, he came to the church with his mother to give thanks. Mama Divine called him out during service. She laid her hands on his head and declared, "Your life battery is running low. If nothing is done, you will not live to see 30. Gasps filled the church. His mother broke down in tears. Obiora trembled. Then Mama Divine gave the solution.
You must sacrifice a cow. But you don't need to bring the cow. Just bring the money and I will handle it.
Frightened, the young man wrote a large check on the spot. The crowd clapped and danced, but Esther's heart bled. She knew this was manipulation. Esther's suspicions pushed her to take risks. One night, she followed Mama Divine secretly. Hiding in the bushes near the river, she watched with her own eyes as the prophetess walked out of her mansion. She followed her and watched her walk towards the ocean under the moonlight, chanting. Suddenly, her voice changed, deep and terrifying. Her body shimmered as dark scales covered her skin. With one last hiss, she dived into the water and disappeared. Esther fell to her knees, trembling. The truth was worse than she imagined. This was no ordinary deception. This was a covenant with darkness. The following Sunday, Mama Divine called Esther out during service. Smiling, she placed a hand on her head and whispered, "Some secrets are dangerous to uncover. Be careful, my daughter." Esther's heart pounded, but she refused to bow.